Britain's trade deficit nearly doubled last year. The 1992 deficit was close to £12 billion. That's an increase of £5.5 billion on the previous year.
Business news now, and results today from the furniture and kitchen group MFI showed little sign of a revival in consumer spending. Their half-year pre-tax profits were down to £12.7 million from £19 million. Shares in the supermarket group Asda went up on the announcement of a £347 million rights issue to fund their expansion. Well, in the city a short time ago, the FT 100 share index was down more than 16 points. The pound, though, was unchanged against the dollar, and it was down 1.5 pfennigs against the German mark.
And that's us all done. Do join us again tomorrow at 12:30 as usual.
Next this afternoon from ITN, a news bulletin at 3:10, and then the early evening news starting at 5:40.
So goodbye.
Bye.
Hello, good afternoon. Well, the weather isn't doing anything very exciting at the moment, which is probably good news unless you're trying to make an interesting weather forecast. It's basically a grey and damp story with patchy rain and drizzle, but at least it's fairly mild for us all. There have been one or two exceptions to the grey story so far today, odd glimpses of the sunshine around, most notably up in the north and east of Scotland. Elsewhere, a lot of cloud and some rain and drizzle, and that cloud spreading back northwards again through the afternoon and evening, so the bright weather in the north isn't going to last very long at all. Patchy rain then almost anywhere, but temperatures up around 9 or 10, that's just into the 50s Fahrenheit. No real change tonight, staying mild, no frost to worry about. On to tomorrow, some changes coming along at last, still a lot of cloud for most of us, and more patchy rain, but the brighter weather gradually coming into Northern Ireland and other western parts of Britain later in the day, so some sunshine around there. Let's look ahead now then to the weekend. Things will begin to change through the weekend. Bright and dry for many places on Saturday, but more general rain to come back into the northwest as the day wears on. And that band of rain is going to sweep further south across other parts of Britain during Sunday, followed by cooler, showery weather in the north, so some sunshine for most of us at some stage through the weekend, but grey and damp for the next 24 hours.
Good afternoon, I'm Paul Green. This is London Today. Terrorists return to target Harrods. Celebrities launch a charity for the young victims of war. And the small fans paying big money to watch their teams in action. A bomb exploded this morning at Harrods, injuring 4 people. We're going straight over to Stuart Maister in Knightsbridge for the latest. Stuart, it sounds like it could have been a lot worse.
That's certainly true, Paul. 3 people, in fact, were injured. None of them very seriously, though 2 were taken to Charing Cross Hospital. I think they were helped with the fact that they got a warning just after 9 o'clock this morning. The bomb went off at 9:40 with staff still in the store.
Harrods staff were evacuated only after the bomb went off, and that decision appears to have been a good one.
The explosion's happened at the front anyway. There's been an explosion at the front.
The staff were still checking the store following the warning. Had they left, things could have been much worse.
But had we have mass evacuated the store, then obviously that street would have been packed with people going home. So, I mean, it's an appalling situation, but it's been handled extraordinarily well.
Police and staff at Harrods store acted promptly on the information received and acted professionally in the circumstances to minimise risk to members of the public.
It's not yet clear whether the bomb was inside or outside the front entrance, but luckily there were few passers-by.
The bang first and then the smoke sort of coming out the door, and we just turned to our heels and got away as fast as we could, yeah.
In 1983, 6 people were killed and 91 injured in a bomb at Harrods. Fortunately, today's incident is on a much smaller scale.
Now, if this was the work of the IRA, and it hasn't been confirmed yet, but if it was, it falls into a pattern of recent activities which have disrupted London. That they certainly achieved today. You can see the whole area of Knightsbridge is sealed off and looks like being so for much of the afternoon. Paul.
Thanks, Stuart. 40 years after he was hanged for the murder of a policeman, Derek Bentley's family remember him in a ceremony at Wandsworth Prison. That heads our look at other news around the region this lunchtime. His sister Iris laid a wreath there this morning, the anniversary of his execution. She's vowed to continue to try to clear his name despite a Home Office refusal to grant him a posthumous pardon. Work started today on smartening up shabby areas of Oxford Street. Repaving, new lighting and more trees will brighten up the area. The scheme will be extended to all the street if stores pay towards it. Tower Bridge is to close for 6 months for major structural repairs. Work to combat corrosion may begin in April. It's one of 6 London bridges being repaired this year. Opened a charm school for bouncers. Paul Lasman reports.
Some people say we're smutty. I don't like being called smutty. And I don't like being called sweet.
HALE and Pace's nightclub bouncers have got it all wrong. Oh, did I say bouncers?
Bouncer's not a term we like to use anymore, really. It's door supervisor.
Oh, right. Basildon Council's door supervisor training scheme includes psychology and first aid for when diplomacy fails. And the course is compulsory. Are Basildon's bouncers worse than other people's bouncers?
Certainly not.
Mind you, she would say that. The police agree.
Doormen have in the past been given a bad name because of incidents that have taken place. I believe that with proper training, those areas that have now been identified can be rectified so that those type of incidents will not take place in the future.
Of course, neck size remains an important qualification in this business, but now these giants are gentle.
I think a good doorman has to be patient, resourceful and has to look ahead.
I think these schemes want to encourage professionalism in doormen, and that's why they're introducing them, because there are a lot of good doormen, but the one or two bad ones give the whole lot a bad name.
It's often said of nightclub bouncers that you wouldn't want to meet one on a dark night, but all these guys have been through the Basildon course and now it would be a positive pleasure. Isn't that right, guys?
Absolutely. Paul Lasman, the reporter, being kept in line there. Finally, a missing schoolgirl was reunited with her anxious mother thanks to a chance in a million and London Tonight. 12-year-old Shana Nevins went missing last week. She appeared on Monday's show in a story about dancing and by chance was spotted by her mother. After an appeal on last night's programme, Shana returned to her Earl's Court's home. We'll have a full report on the reunion at 6 o'clock. And to celebrate the first anniversary of the Brick Lane Music Hall, we'll be joined in the studio by a real Cockney sparrow, Barbara Windsor. That's all at 6. We're back with a news update at 3:15. Join us then.
Good afternoon. Well, there's no doubt about it. It's a much brighter day today than it was yesterday. Even 1 or 2 sunny spells around, but we are in for some more rain later on during today, and that's associated with this complex frontal pattern on its way, highlighted by this band of cloud moving in towards Ireland, and this other bundle of cloud coming up from the Bay of Biscay, bringing some rain to the southwest and moving into the southeast later on. For the time being, though, it's very much a cloudy picture, a little bit of light rain